A box.
So this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGildy 2 months ago.
It's the music box. And on the night of Mr. Windybank's murder... yeah. On the night of Mr. Windybank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, quick! Let's open it and see what's inside! I fucking knew it! It is a music box!
Oh, gracious. This is an ordinary box, it seems.
Wow. Although, in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box house is a miniature music box movement. Sorry.
Then, is it too much to expect?
I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. Well then, let's find out. Wait, do they both have the box on their desk?
So, here we have the beans to play back Mr. McGildy's disc, deposited at Windybank's at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGildy's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the Brickmick was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGildy?
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Why, my lord!
Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The music box and the disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. That's not your call to make. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music. This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understand what happened. Sorry, audio peaked. The prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is police property. Now you can't... Motherfucker, I am the police. Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. I gotta turn this shit down. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Finally, he does something good. Salary cutting noises.
No further delays, please. Play the disc.
Ugh. It's Morse code. It's not a song, it's Morse code.
What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music.
No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. It's Morse code.
Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless.
Oh god, he's doing the gay little dance again. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? It's not. It's Morse code. Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom.
Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Come on. Think, damn it. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It's a clue. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel, mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
They change. I'm at the end, so I'm not that focused on voices. But it does sound strange, I agree. But there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound. as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh. Just what relevance do you propose this willful shaman has on this case? Wait, how can that be the same note? The bumps are clearly in different places, so it would strike different notes. Eh, whatever. Don't think about it too much. It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not music at all. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo. Objection! The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not, I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Ah, well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. They've got me. I don't know what the answer is. Yet. Runo? I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. So it's designed to produce only a single note. See, we're on... Come on, give me that prestige. Give me the prestige. Well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ha! Could it be? Is that what those sounds are? He's having a brain blast. Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, counsel?
All the evidence you've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Come on. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds of this music box disc is... Oh shit. Sholmes' pouch, music box, stereoscope, post-shooting, photographs, brother, gun, crime scene, autopsy, today's paper. Ah!
Today's paper, counsel. The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in pickpocket plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause.
Pterodactyl. Ah, no, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down? Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, there's a very serious matter being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
That's why the inspector was nervous. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted. Yeah, they're trying to contact the great Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. And leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wire telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Stop. Oh, me, sir. Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports. Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then, tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? Hmm? She's translating the sound. You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it. Beep it. This isn't a music box at all. It's a telegraph machine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box desk contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? This is like shit you would see in This is totally like, this is some James Bond shit.
Order, please everyone, order. But this is high treason, council, deserving of capital punishment.
Or at least exile, or worse, exile to Australia. Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason, and what is capital punishment? The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know. Well, yeah, but he speaks a different language, Yunosuke, come on.
For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGill had perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery.
My word!
In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry, because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it
would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death.
It could be traced back to him. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Isn't it ironic how in the past, like, you could find out anything you needed to know about someone by following their paper tray, you know, tracking, like, where they spent their money. But now, paying with physical trash is less traceable than paying with digital currency. Weird. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous!
So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Under oath?
Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away. Objection! Oh! Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. He wants to do things by the books. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. He also wants to see this accusation disproved, but he wants it to be done by the books. Delighted, I'm sure.
The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybank. That being a most flagitious offense, which law of this land sanctions a capital punishment.
Sent to Australia.
But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed. You may...
God damn it. Oh, it's...
You gotta let us have a rabbit and book you, Governor. We got things to say. I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are? Name's not Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie.
The original baddie.
Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out of motherland. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers.
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. We're gonna have to put you in witness protection, Gregson. Does this... God, I hope this universe has witness protection, because, oh my god. So many, like, powerful... So many people who've been ratted out by witness... Like, you're cross-examining mob bosses, fucking yakuza, terrorists. Graydon's counter. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information, but they're the one guy who would be most qualified to steal that information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man.
Look, all we done is break into the gap the other night like what he told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it.
So
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin? What Mr. do, Governor? What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? And on the night in question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, you did so as a party of three, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here?
just confess, man. Just take the L. It can't be worse than being sent to Australia.
We did, Gov. We did.
Right, witness protections for the both of you.
Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You little rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor bloke didn't have to die, did he?
Ugh. Nice to know who your friends are. No water among thieves. That's the first rule of thieving. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations.
Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence.
Yeah, gotta deny the gay allegations. Couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Yes, he fucking could. Yes, he fucking could. So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted. There's a thing, I forgot the name of it, but like it's this phenomenon where the more you try to hide information, how could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? The more you try to hide information, the more likely it is for that information to be discovered. That's why people were able to fucking blow the whistle on the Manhattan Project, because they worked so hard to conceal it with, like, fucking secret cities or whatever. Like, there's a whole town for the people working on the Manhattan Project. Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Oh no, stop! Must say something, stop! Let me guess. Juror number 5. You've been a great help. We regular communication stations officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. The team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Okay.
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon?
Well, what of it? Sorry, long voice. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent enciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. I bet his award, like the award, the engraving on the award is in a cipher. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Okay, we've seen that shit already. Well, your idol would appreciate it if you kept your mouth shut. Sorry, wrong one. Your idol would. She should really pick her idols more carefully. Never meet your heroes. Oh no, I don't want to look at the court record. Yet. I tell you, this boy's accusations are completely unfounded. Okay. Besides, the sounds produced by the music box aren't even Morse code. Can you be sure? They're not? To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. No, 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 no. The notes that are immediately followed by another note, the notes that are immediately followed by another note, those are the dots. And the notes that have a pause before the next note, those are the dash. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch. He looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. Lesson, here in court. Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct tones. Tones, you say? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. I see. For example, this is A, and this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same, and everything. No, 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 no. Wait. I thought maybe like, oh, for a dash, they played two notes at once. Notice mean random sequence sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in the future. Stop. Nothing to say but stop. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it, Iris? I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely. Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box to somehow play back Morse code? Give it a try. Come on, man. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. Just not the way we think. That's the belief of the defense, at least. Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, two tones are required. Dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what?
Well, it would appear that the defense has a hypothesis to put forward.
Oh, here it comes.
You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to decipher secret messages into Morse code?
Okay, let's carefully examine it. See how the 4 gilded disc sits in the music box, man, deposited at Windy Banks. Couldn't be a more perfect fit. So there's no question that this is also designed to be played in this music box. But despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet. Is this button here important? Oh! What is it, Runo? I've just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. Ah, you're right! Well, come on, then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it. All right, then. Here it goes. It's like the opposite side of a... Look at that! There's another movement on the underside! So does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side? Yes, I think so. It looks like the two movements are linked together. They're linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time.
Got it! Good gracious! What am I looking at here? Another movement on the other side of the music box?
What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time.
Good heavens!
As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. It's just... This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well, you wouldn't happen to have another disc, would you? I can't at the moment. What about Herlock's copy? Maybe Herlock's copy is a oh my god. One side is designed to play one note, and the other side is designed to play another note. But you would need the same disc for both sides. Because, no, wait, no, that wouldn't work. That would just be dot and no, that wouldn't work. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGilded 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs. I'm getting to that, dude. Fucking Gishka, boy, you have to adjust all my arguments simultaneously. Fuck you.
Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
Exactly. I had nothing to do whatsoever to do with it.
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue.
Ugh. The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Bruno.
You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon.
If I must, though I maintain exactly what he did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. Ay. There was a local brickmaker. No relation to the man. Your name is Graydon. Wait, why can't I look at the people? Low-level brickmaker. Let's just press her first. I meant him. So 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make much sense, though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? Why would... Oh, indeed. Why would he meet up with a fucking, philanthropist? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason in order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Tell me. Yeah, even I think that's a fucking leap. You may have it in it for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter, and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together.
If you have nothing more to add on the note, let us return to the witness testimony.
Let me look at the core record.
Look, all we done is broke into the gap the other night like what he told us to do.
Pawnbroker detective. Windy Bank. The blood in it was identified as Mr. Mason's. Ooh. The coat. Why is he so adamant? Okay. I got a hunch. The, ticket for the coat. It has... The ticket for the coat, it has that splash of blood, which we know belongs to Mr. Mason. So maybe... Nope. It was worth a try. See, I can't... See, I have to, like, jump to crazy conclusions, because that's what Ryunosuke does all day. That's what... I'm talking about both Naruhodo and... That's what Naruhodo does all day. Naruhodo Ryunosuke and Naruhodo Ryurichi. That's, fucking Phoenix's original Japanese name. Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean.
Well, that's it, yeah. Who else, eh? Silly me thought we was just popping over for a night after all years, but the writer had a dodgy job for us. Yes?
Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say. Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? Yeah, he's their brother.
We're the sociable kind of buddies, you know. Sure, let's say Graydon's an old China.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? No, the other Mr. Skulkin.
What? Oh, me?
When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react.
Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when.
Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean?
Yeah, with Ash. I mean, you look at him now in his fancy Westland blue, and you wouldn't have believe it.
Okay, I know what that means. You wouldn't believe it. I think I'm starting to understand this thing. It's working class English.
But when he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us.
Is that so? Also known as Cockney.
But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy, always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads. God blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Skulker's Milk Run?
Although really, I hear any English accent that isn't the posh British accent. Anything that isn't that is working class to me. Which might be prejudice on my part.
That was a corker, eh?
Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscence has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit.
Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong.
Well, except for...
Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please?
Yeah, nobody cares about your... nobody cares about your story. Let's just add it to the testimony just for shits and giggles. My lord...
Yes, counsel?
He knows where this is going. The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case. If anything else, if nothing else, it's a character testimony.
Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add.
Hey,
say no more. A skulkin's never skulkin'.
It was a crime to introduce these guys in the last chapter.
Milverton's and Skulkin's Milkwood.
Go on, there know the days. Milverton. Where have I heard that before? Fiender's representation, blood sample, Irish Hound of Baskervilles. Is there something I've missed? Like, or is it just... Let's see. The Hound of the Baskervilles. No, just read it. Great story. I don't know why her is forbidden me to publish it. No, it's strange, isn't it? Perhaps it's a problem with the title. Perhaps Mr. Sholmes is a family friend of someone who has that name or something. Well, it doesn't have quite the same ring to it, but I could change it to the Hound of the Naruhodos. I'm fairly sure that Mr. Sholmes is a friend of someone who has that name too. Okay, so that wasn't it. The Gilded Case Notes. I never read this. Oh, I did. Mason Milverton! Oh my god!
Objection.
You fucker! My god.
Hold it.
Okay, press him first. I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business?
It's just a little ski we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals. That's what it was all about.
That sounds a lot legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate. But on what? The business name. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved?
Yeah, that's it.
Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
And where did the Milverton part come from?
Oh, right. I thought a clever clogs like you would have worked it out.
Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel? I don't... Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject?
Because well... It wasn't the happiest of homes that one came from. Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon, see? But us will always be Milverton to us.
Milverton. So that used to be your surname, didn't it? Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, Show us your birth certificate. You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. Ah, we don't have to look at his birth certificate. Good, because that's an invasion of privacy. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon.
Gah! Well, it would appear that Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable. For once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct?
Very well, yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. Ashley Graydon's a Milverton. Ah, you do, bitch. All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage. It would explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiation Ginny overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago and the break-in at Whitney Banks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with Mr. McGilded. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. Look at the case files. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the Nikita was making headway with the cross-examination here. I have proof! Could be those two brothers. I already examined the dipshit brothers, the blowjob brothers. I don't need to examine... Come on, third blowjob brother. I've no relation to the man. These court records would say different otherwise. Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. It means something to the court. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. Slam. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. You had a reason to hide that name. Oh, he's seething. Oh, he's seething.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiated with McGilded...
Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton.
Milverton? Do you mean to say, saints alive?
Mr. Ashley Milverton, is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't... As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. And it's funny, he doesn't have a problem with this because he knows, like, this is common court affair, you know, doing a background check on your witnesses and whatnot. That's common court affair. He has no problem with it. But it's always like, no, I don't want to use the Sherlock Holmes' magic blood tester. I don't want to use that. I want to use actual forensic science. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on to Miss Gilded in collaboration with your father. Gah! A graceful twirl. Doing a fucking pirouette off the balcony. Oh shit. It's the footage is slowing down. New facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness. Okay, all come together to reveal the truth.
The truth, you say?
That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded.
By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel?
Yes, stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded, Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box decks to encode the information. As, presumably, a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever.
But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Oh, even he's agreeing with this, because he knows something's up. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windybanks 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc.
Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
Eh? We never knew nothing about that. On the night that Mr. Windybank was killed, the intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item, and one item alone, the music box.
As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed.
So, the question that naturally begs answering is this. Why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious. Because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since, if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? He's gonna deny it. I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Hey, what's that what's with your, what is that on your sleeve? Sir? There appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windybank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Oh, the green wasn't Sholmes' blood. It was Graydon's blood. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? Oh, right, I deduced that it was Graydon's blood, like, a few episodes ago.
He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember, and I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common backsome thieves. As that's no way to talk to your childhood friends. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windybanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. Well, but let me guess, he's gonna deny the murder. He's gonna deny the murder. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded. Gay little dance that pisses you off. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. Bullshit! He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. I would like to call God to the witness stand. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is, well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windybank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm.
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
Which means it couldn't have been my client! And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windybank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder.
Goodness.
That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank that night is you!
Hold it.
You little upstart! You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What is that supposed to mean? Oh shit, he's gonna snitch on Gina. Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought ever cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. She's underage. What?
Are you suggesting?
I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. That's impossible. Wah! He's fainting from the audacity of this motherfucker.
Well, you will see we're finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
Mr. Graydon, yes, I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, this is pretty easy. We already have enough proof that I don't have to, like, prove that he did it. I just have to disprove his alibi. And it will clear my witness's name. That is my client's name. That is fucking double whammy. I understand fully. Kill two birds with one stone. That's the term.
But I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
And nothing would give me greater pleasure. I can't wait to see you break down. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. Gun. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Do you have this gun?
Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pull the trigger.
Order! Order! It wasn't my intention to testify this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. Oh, you better hope that, Iris writes something, positive about you pretty soon, because I don't think your salary is gonna get any raises after this trial. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. Well, at least you got that detail right. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. No, he wasn't. You say the blood spattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? I gotta... Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Oh man, why isn't there no picture of... God damn it, no picture of Gina. Fuck me. Oh, the blood. The fucking blood. Oh my god. Pop Windybank, his blood is blue. Oh, come on. Why isn't the coat evidence? I'm sure it'll be important later.
Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here.
Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. Oh, don't say it. So here's to true science, not some amateur detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry. Don't tell me it's the exact same method that Sherlock Holmes developed. There's nothing dubious about Haley's work. His ideas are all sound. Wait a minute. Oh, I see where this is going. Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. That's not what a theory... You're thinking of a hypothesis, dude. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission, we could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes.
Huh.
This doesn't look good, Runo. Why not? Well, we know, don't we? That there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat. Yes, but if they test it with their chemicals... Oh, help, you're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. Yeah, well, we can't... Yeah, well, what... It might not be Windybank's blood. We don't have to... It might not be Windybank's blood. It might not be Windybank's blood. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's purple. It's purple. Purple. Purple, I say. But that's not Mr. Windybank's blood. That stain is from 2 months ago. I knew it. That's Mr. Mason's blood from when he was stabbed by McGilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution.
Overruled.
Wait, at least hear my reasoning.
Lord Van Zeeks, make it so at once.
With pleasure, my lord.
And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
For the love of all things holy, once they find that blood on the overcoat, it's Jover.
Counsel?
Yes, my lord. It's Runover. It's Runover.
Your cross-examination.
Of course, my lord. If this cross-examination doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or read a compound clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Come on. Come on. Just... The moment of the shooting. While these ruffians were jostling with the brook, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. Which gun? Which gun fired, huh? You mean that that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was at exactly that moment it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was indeed bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Windybank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home.
When I pulled me gun on him, he tried to shove me out the way. And then he scampered through that door out back.
So it was you guys who shot him.
At which point, what did you do?
Shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. Saw the blood spatter all that wretched girl. She tossed the gun out of the people, so I picked it up. Show me the gun, motherfucker! Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. Show us this gun, now! So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Tampering with the crime scene, breaking and entering, attempted treason, attempted theft, armed robbery, motherfucking, fraud because of the fucking, he tried to claim that coat for himself. That's just straight up fraud. Did I count perjury? Let me start over. Breaking and entering, armed robbery, attempted theft, breaking and entering, armed robbery, attempted theft, attempted treason, perjury, fraud, and murder. This guy is going to fucking Super Australia. I left the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up?
We'd made a bit of a mess around the court counter, so Mr. Whistling Food here told us to tidy up.
He thinks he's a bloomin' mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You seem very adamant on claiming...
Excuse me.
Gentlemen! The Blowjob Brothers, ladies and gentlemen.
Something wrong, Sunshine?
That should be my line. I'll save that voice for apology. That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin?
Oh, blimey, this D's a bit of an hooligan, isn't he?
What was going on just now?
You saw him. He grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said, didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station?
And why didn't you?
'Cause we didn't know nothing about it. With the flaming people in the door. Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you?
Yeah. I'm...
God blimey. You see the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this D gives me the willies.
I think they make products for that when you lose the rag. Sorry, that's a terrible joke. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Rexy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character. I just mixology. A flag of Japan, but it's actually a perfect towel with a perfectly placed water stain. Oh shit, I just peed on my towel accidentally. Better turn this in a cloud. It was a water stain. I had an ice pack and it leaked out of the towel. I didn't fucking pee on it. It's a bit strange that he's so sure about himself after seeing the blood splatter all over Ginny's coat. It doesn't strike me as the sort of thing you'd claim if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen. But we know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank, so what's going on? All I know is that it's very unfair. Why should some German scientist's test be acceptable as evidence when mine and Hurley's wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too. Never mind that. I have to find a really stark inconsistency in this testimony somewhere. And I have to find it before the prosecution discovers the bloodstain on Gina's coat. While these ruffians were tussling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windybank Brunette sharp pinned my arm, shut so I could see him through the peephole in the door. Could you? You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom door's a solid job, made of stout wood. I don't remember. Oh, but there's a small opening in it about head height that lets you see what's in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. Oh, no. And she wasn't drenched in blood. The coat, I mean, yes, there were blood stains, but that was from 2 months ago. The blood was dry. Surely this highly sophisticated method of testing blood will be able to know that the blood was from... It wasn't from the crime scene. I mean, she was found without blood on the jacket. Come on, man.
Not likely, Gov. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov.
I doubt these two buffoons are even aware of the people's existence. So the Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windybank take place. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there.
The defendant?
Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man.
And then, what did you see next?
The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. All over her? Yes, through the peephole, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. No! That was not... Damn it! But I assure you, the garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Windybank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Overton's blood from when McGilded stabbed him 2 months ago. Well, if this blood testing method from Germany is good, then we'll be able to prove that. And if not, well, I guess we'll have to start World War I a few years early. Bad joke. So annoying. If they'd only accept her as chemical analysis, we could prove that. But they won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Yet. Bother. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up, ordered to... The accused in a black coat shot the man. So, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windybank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. So unless you can produce this third gun, you have no way of proving that she shot the gun. But no, it wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windybank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. Where is this mysterious third gun, huh? Don't you dare say that the burden of proof is on me to disprove the existence of this gun. You fucking theist, you creationist. You goddamn Scientologist. I'm sorry, that was rude. Sorry, Tom Cruise. Apologies to Tom Cruise. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. Well, then show me this gun, asshole. But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry. You must consider the events in order. Show me the gun! At first I saw the broker and the girl glare at each other, but then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run, and it was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back.
A chilling image, I must say.
I saw the blood. Shot himself in the storeroom. Sharp pain. Mr. Windybank emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close.
I've never been so scared in all my life. Yeah, we're just regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence.
Says the pair who carry a gun. It's for self-defense. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1, so I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong.
I was trying to help me little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the bloomin' counter. So I pulled me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scalper. The pair of you settling upon the floor, poor defenseless pawnbroker together. Shame on you. Sorry, Gav.
But, my lord,
Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord.
The blood on the accused's overcoat. Here we go. Tear the bandit off.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel?
No, my lord. Suspended, not ended, which means I could use this new evidence in the cross-examination.
Well, there you have it.
The report, please, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. Ah, son of a bitch. End of report.
Goodness me.
No, 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 no. Say, what did I tell you? Where's the weapon? Show me the gun, you piece of shit. No. The blood on that coat is not Mr. Windybank's.
What on earth makes you say that, counsel?
The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Mr. Windybank's, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Mulverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Well, by that logic, we can't exactly prove that it is. We can't exactly ask Windybank if it's his blood. Sorry. You're talking about Magnus. 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. Hey, Your conduct shatters any spread of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. I said I was sorry. God, but that was... I call it a vile disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is. I'm not even British. How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done. Doctor, help me. We used Mr. Sholmes' specially garmented bundle.
Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist.
You know about blood, right? Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I yelled at Birowski, the starving boy, and he ran away crying. What does that mean? Herlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all. How could you say that? Damn. Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish.
How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir?
As the witness said, the accused's coat was splattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid, and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. But we don't have the murder weapon that was used to shoot the gun. You don't have the third gun, you motherfucker. I have to, See what I mean? Court stacked against you. Been a long battle, this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, if you please.
Mr. Foreman?
As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now. Sap.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Six angry jurors.
Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict.
Summation examination, motherfucker. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. This witness, yes. The test, no. The testimony, didn't end. It was only suspended. So I'm still get to cross-examine him. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful. I don't believe it. After I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? Here it comes. How very distressing to be held in such low esteem. Is that who I think it is? Oh! Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Wait a minute. What? Officer?
You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you.
It occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh god. That scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. Yeah, scientific truths discovered. That's redundancy. Science is a process that requires a lot of thinking. I know that voice. Oh my god, it's... Am I going mad? Oh boy. Mr. Sholmes! What is the meaning of this? He impersonated a police officer! Order! What business do you have here, detective? Last I heard, you were recuperating in hospital. As well I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Haley, it's really you! You're awake at last! Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me.
In what manner, sir?
I have something of great importance that I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Will you be so kind as to spare us the time?
What say you to this, Lord Van Zieks?
This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Have I spent so long already?
Exactly. I've spent long already. We don't want to go wasting any more precious time.
As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes.
Oh,
yeah. By the way, how will you say that shit you said about Sholmes to his face, you fucking asshole? Oh god, he took off that stupid mustache.
my dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival.
Mr. Sholmes, are you alright now?
All right, I'm all wrong.
Sorry.
I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out.
Let's make this discussion as short as possible. That's why in real court cases, you sit down. Haley, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. That guy over there called you a hack. Lord Van Zieks, he called you hack. He called you out. You know what that means? Gonna write a scathing interview. We're gonna write a scathing chapter about him in the next book. he's gonna get a fucking pay cut. Iris is gonna cancel Van Zeeks with her fucking... I made that joke like when I was first introduced. Like, your racism is gonna get you canceled. He's gonna get canceled in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, well, that concoction of mine really was just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part.
Right. Modesty? Surely not.
But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow.
What's that? A lavender fruit shiki wrapping.
A leave-in present from Miss Susato.
From Miss Susato.
If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were
not to be were to be settled without me giving you this. What?
Those are her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor.
I don't understand. Yeah, I'm confused.
Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand, and that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. Or, at that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions.
Deus Ex Machina. A leave-in present from Susato-san. Whatever could it be? The doggy door maker! What is this? Oh! It's the machine I made! Ah. Use it on the witness! Aim it at his heart and kill him! Look, I use this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat flap-o-mat. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Wacky in seconds. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! That peephole wasn't originally there! What's Susie up to? Miss Susato muttered the following words before... Fuck me!
Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left.
Come on, please.
I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant.
What? Didn't she say something like that? I'm a failure. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry that I've been a complete failure. I'm a failure. Failure. Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes?
That night, when you left Windybanks in pursuit of the thieves...
Oh, Lord of...
Miss Susato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow.
Not at all cryptic, then. I got it. Susato-san used this cat flap-o-mat that night. But why? The cat flap-o-mat entered into the court record. Okay. 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 Oh, hey. A random guy... Some random person that... Yeah, I friended them for... I was trying out the Baldur's Gate multiplayer. I thought I could connect with random people, maybe do a quick session. Thought that would be possible, but turns out it's the Baldur's Gate I guess it's not good on Steam Deck. I guess it's better if you like connect directly with like people you know, like a LAN connection or whatever. It's not designed for casual multiplayer. And now all of my fucking... I have 3 separate save files. They're stuck on multiplayer mode with the fucking multiplayer chests and Wither's Chests of Wayward Friends. And there's this goddamn creator character that someone created and never finished. They joined the game, then left, and so we got this uncontrolled player character. Can't do anything with that. It's fucking useless. I don't need that, so they're just stuck in the chest. And I have to look at that. They're just stuck in the wardrobe, and I have to look at the wardrobe every time I boot up Baldur's Gate 3. We're out of time already. Come on.
I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper.
I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast.
Is it really?
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. Ah, that's what you said every other time that I did a summation examination. And every time, there's no way that this guy will get a not guilty verdict. Oh, what? You got a not guilty verdict there?
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
the rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan?
You mean up to me? I don't. The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... Oh, shit. Further cross-examination. That's my... Further cross-examination. Further cross-examination.
Objection.
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now. Haha. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather, to continue with one of an existing witness. What?
It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper.
My lord.
Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended.
Ha ha ha! Technicality. So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon,
The court is obliged to allow it.
this is absurd. No, this is the law. This is the law. God, oh God, old fucking reference. Madness. No, this is Sparta.
I will remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings.
What does that mean?
Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination.
So I can only press him on one thing.
You must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence. No, I can do this.
If for that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to education. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord. Yes. Yes, my lord.
A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous.
That's all I need, baby.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell in a dead faint.
What?
I leave this in your capable hands.
What? He's in the fucking Family Guy death pose. Mr. Sholmes! What a guy.
To stand so insultantly before the court in a state of high fever, either the man has extraordinary state of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling.
I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you?
Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared?
Yes. One statement. One piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down. Or Iris. Or Gina. And I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial.
Very well then, under the terms I've outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Okay. First, I gotta save. Let me save. Maybe I can... Ah, I can. Let's look at this. Just examining it. Oh. Phew. Those fish's teeth look like they rip through almost anything. They're good, aren't they? They're made of a special alloy developed just for this job. The cutter rotates 10 times per second, so it can get through any kind of door in no time at all. And what are the two parts at the top there? Ah, those are for attaching hinges to the section of door that gets cut out. Right, of course. Nothing can match this machine for power. It can make mincemeat of even the toughest of doors. Sounds so charming and friendly when you say what it's for, but feels like the reality of the cat flap is that it's a grim weapon of door destruction. Someone's gonna use that as a murder weapon and create a door to their chest that they then use to remove their heart. Okay, guy's so adorable. There's nothing he wouldn't do for him. Even developing deadly weapons. Well, we now know how the cat flapomat works. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, blah blah blah, entered to the shop, threw Nash over the counter. I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storm. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. No! Shit, hold on. Through the peephole in the door. That wasn't a peephole. I would like to direct attention to this cat flapomat.
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, Counsel?
Ooh, it's my cat flapomat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you can think of, and make a new little door in the middle of it. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps, also known as doggy doors. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners having to open the main door. I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. Gah. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Bet. Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door. Aha!
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine, in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Wendy Bank had taken place. Everyone had left the scene. The Skulkin brothers and Eggs Benedict. According to the paper at the art, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
He did what in his cup? There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Oh, wow. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. Hey, how low can you go? Sorry, dumb joke. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? There wasn't a peephole when you were there, motherfucker. Yes? How could you?
What? Counsel, kindly say what you mean.
Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through. What? No!
Objection!
This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was... Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device. You can test the device yourself if you're skeptical.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene while being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. That is a most serious act of vandalism.
Well, she's currently on international waters, so you can't exactly, which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, counsel.
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the evidence is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door.
Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back.
However, if at the time of the incident, that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. Ugh. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Gah.
Order! Is there any credence in this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly. This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that a plaything can cut through a solid wooden door? Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors. That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second. I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy, cooey, time for dinner. She used it. She used it on the fucking courtroom door. Well?
Ah! Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. What does not make calf flaps in the oak paddling at the Old Bailey?
Oh, and that was the point of divergence. There's no cat flaps in the actual Old Bailey, but there is in the Ace Attorney timeline. I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the people in the storeroom door at Windybanks was made by your machine. Somehow, that cat flap prevents the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And there's no way you can prove that it was. No? But it's easy.
What?
The cat flaps my flap mat crates are all of a fixed size. And the dimensions of the people at Windybanks are an exact match.
Ugh!
Old Silky's lost it for words. Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned student's friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, goddammit, let's just assume the people has dimensions that are a perfect fit for this contraption. I'm sure Iris, has records showing that. In that case, when was the people cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zieks?
Oh my god! The photos! You can prove that the people wasn't there with the photos! Let me check. Just quickly. Fuck. Look! No fucking door hole! Oh! It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof. I have proof. No, pictures! And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. I'll show you, baseless.
Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel?
I have evidence. Don't give up now, Runo. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through. I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. Come on, motherfucker.
Very well. The counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door of Windybank's room was created after the event and not before.
Take that!
What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras again. My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel.
This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defense's broker. But we know that that's not the gun that was used to fire at the fucking victim. God damn it. More to the point. It pictures the storeroom door in the background. Yeah, that wasn't me going off at this game's ass backwards logic. That was actually Ryunosuke being mad because this guy kept bringing up disproved shit. Like, oh, she's holding a gun. Yes, but that gun was unrelated to the actual murder. You fuck. It pictures the storeroom door in the background. That gun wasn't the murder weapon. Let me see that print again.
I don't believe it. It really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description.
No! Mr. Graydon. You couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door. Gah. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. Oh, here it comes. No. No. Yeah, I've seen better.
Order! Order! I am satisfied that the defense has substantiated his claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious.
Uh-oh. That's not the only thing that we know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. That woman tampered with a crime scene. Yeah, but more importantly...
Good lord, there's more, Lord Van Zeeks.
The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury, but that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Aw, son of a... Okay, let's... Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene, it's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. But that's all. Well, yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please. No! I don't believe this. But they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Yeah, well... God damn it. Still, he can't worm his way out of it now. Iris, you know what they say. There's no point locking the cat store after the cat is bolted. People say that. Isn't that right, Runo? Also, you can lock a cat door. As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait, that might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about. Namely, it could have been... I'm first guessing the obvious gun, which is the bloodstains. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrange's coat. That's right, the victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you possibly have known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole and... The... What peephole? The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie that you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the people in the storeroom door? It didn't exist yet. What? Well, obviously,
Has the cut got your turn, witness?
The peephole on the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the 2 burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windybanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the orders to have officers working around the clock in shifts so we could get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door.
How on earth is that possible?
It wasn't! He's lying, you dumbass!
Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zix?
Speak, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you, permission denied.
Oh, it's not at all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. What do people even mean when they say if it's all the same to you? I guess, like, if it doesn't affect you at all, could you let me do this thing? You will remain here until where you are until this trial continues. Oh, of course, sir. Mr. Graydon. Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be.
Who's the person in question, counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
Okay. Couldn't have been him. He was hospitalized. He's stern and single pro... My only guess is fucking Gregson. I guess his motive would be to cover up the leaking of classified documents.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Me?
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today. Oh my god, it's one big conspiracy, dude.
Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our hour-long recess. While the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station.
And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
This is a bloomin' outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigations to this fella, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in that case. Had you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means the first time those two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed during following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred.
Ooh, I just remembered something, Runo.
What is it, Iris?
There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Ginny was testifying.
Oh, yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve Mathilda's music box from the scene of the crime.
That's it! It was during that testimony!
I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then.
You little toe rag, you're making this all up! Little toe rag, you're making this all up! I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Well, why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain, but perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense. It was so you could cover up, cause you were dealing with sensitive information. You didn't want that information to be revealed. What deal, counsel? I wonder if perhaps, in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector. The fucking desk! The second desk!
I'm sure I need not to remind the inspector that, if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance. Maleficence.
I don't know how to... Accepting a bribe.
Well,
Objection.
You're gonna get suspended with pay, brother. It's becoming clear that jumping in with the accusations in this is this Nipponese student's specialty. I don't do that. Yeah, all my accusations have been true so far, fuckherd. But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? A court must see proof of this alleged deal. Okay. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it.
Runo, do you think it could be?
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. Don't fucking tell me it's the goddamn manuscript. Let's try the manuscript first. Almost there.
Take that!
Yeah, this ain't the right one. Wait, maybe? Nope. Yeah, okay. It's not the manuscript. So then it could be the government secrets. The desk.
Take that!
Yeah, the music stopped. We got it. Inspector Gregson. Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case?
what are you getting at now, Sunshine?
Is it possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
How the bleeding Nora could you
We discovered, during the course of this trial, the music box deposited at Windybanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. Oh. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case. You little... Ah! Remember to eat some fish and chips this Friday because it's Lent. Order! On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windybanks, you said this. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGill. It's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Don't give it to him. Okay, yeah. Oh, homie. Scotland Yard already knew it at the time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush. And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all.
Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the scene to the witness, to aid and abet this man in giving false testimony?
There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the people. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these 2 men. No! Oh, let me guess. That's still not enough evidence that he's the one who killed Windybank, right? If, and I stress if, this sober assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this courtroom? How could you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Surely he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then, you mean to say Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
It's under his hat.
Yes.
It's under his hat. The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once. Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before. And Grexy hasn't moved from the witness stand since. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately, including his hat.
Well, Inspector.
This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me in my profession quite enough. However, if it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search. What? He's going to agree with it? It's in his hat, or up his ass. I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded. Well, that sounds serious.
Indeed, to have a resident student make such a defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force. It is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
You're just threatening Bruno because you're scared. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it but somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. It's on his buck.
Very well, Counsel. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still possess and formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects?
Hold on. So what did he say? What did Runo say? Somehow, must have physically changed hands, so should have it. Search someone else. Yes, the defense formally demands the search should be conducted.
Whoa!
Don't say you weren't warned, but your typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good.
Fair enough.
I've got nothing to hide.
Very well, then.
Wait, I did pick the one with, yeah.
Bailiff, conduct a search on the inspector's personal effects.
Stop. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson.
What?
Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me.
I'm not just accusing you. I'm accusing you of working in collusion with the other guy. No, Inspector. Not you. Somebody else. I have got to, do something about that fucking notification.
What's the meaning of this, eh? Lost at last, have you, sunshine? God shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
Be quiet, all of you. Huh? Oh, hey, it's you. Reno's doing what you all told him to do, and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction, and eagerly awaits his next words.
You what? Now, don't be hasty, my lord. If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today, I'm fairly sure that I know who has that disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be.
Counsel, of whom do you request the search now?
Oh, shit. Okay. I'm going to guess... I'm going to start with... this guy, because it's the most likely one. Mr. Ashley Graydon, my lord. The defense demands that he be searched at once.
Very well. I presume you will not protest, Mr. Graydon?
Au contraire. Wait a minute. No. And so a brief body search was carried out by the court bailiff. A few short minutes later, it was revealed that Mr. Graydon had nothing unusual on his person at all. Damn it. Let's try that again. Try that again. It's in the coat. My lord, the defense demands that this person be searched at once.
Good grief. What possible relation could exist between that person and the case, counsel?
Objection.
Oh, son of a... This is the wrong one. Wait. Maybe. Nope. Okay. This is the real Ace Attorney gameplay. Wait a minute. It could be... No, that won't work. Could be him since he was shoving, and could have been a sleight of hand.
Take that.
Oh! Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Well, I never.
Eh? Blimey!
Me?
M? Return to the Blowjob Brothers.
Very well then, bailiff. Destroy the witnesses and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Hold it.
Aye. Please, my lord.
Inspector?
Scotland Yard, has to object this as such.
Objection.
That's the most unrealistic thing about this, is that the police are forced to be transparent. Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Ah! In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object.
But Lord Von Zykes,
I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
Gah!
Although I do have a lot of complaints about this, because goddammit.
Now, hold on about. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out!
He slipped the disc onto his person while throttling him. Here, my lord, in the witness's pocket. I found this. Eureka!
Good lord, that's...
Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it. Nothing.
You almost had me, Gregson. That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson? He's wearing heels.
Order! Order! Mr. Skulkin, what have you to say for yourself? Gordon Bennett. I mean, just Gordon Flamin' Bennett.
Maybe that's like a different version of a goddammit.
I swear I don't know enough about this disc. Honest to God.
My fucking Cockney accent's slipping.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? There's a deal that was struck between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
Then, for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. He is the smartest of Scotland Yard. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall. What unusual behavior?
It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbroker that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? I admit to nothing of the sort. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, you did it all. Thought me noggin was gonna fall off clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as me brother I was.
And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue. He just suddenly turned and grabbed me whistle like that and started shaking me. Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station? That's what he said. Yelled it right down my ear, all he did. Me head's still starving now.
Starving. The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character, but looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Oh, plus my wig. He hit it.
His wig snatched you.
But I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here.
Because he knew that if the detective had acquired the disc
He was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket?
because he knew he would be searched once this came to light.
This is a court of law. You could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at all liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions.
My orders, what? Recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry. And do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush. Hush-hush? A top-secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector?
I'm operating on direct orders from the ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question.
So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc that you had acquired from the witness.
Ah, does this mean...
He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him, to slip the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense? Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon, are prepared to admit to the accusation made against you of this alleged deal.
Oh shit. It's gonna, here it comes. It's gonna be like, yes, oh, I did it. Admit to it, yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon. Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. Ah, motherfuck. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the inspector.
Objection.
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the people? I'm under no obligation to explain. But that is horseshit. Yes, I lied in my testimony. That I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All of it is this young Easter man's fancy. He's fucking gaslighting us straight in the middle of court. I have no idea what any of that is about. You can just... Nope. Nah, I'm not gonna say shit. Oh, I have to give a reason. Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the desk?
Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I'm acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice.
Fucking framing a 17-year-old girl, a 17-year-old homeless girl, for murder is in the name of justice? She's the fuck... Gina isn't just the victim. She's the goddamn fall guy of this whole thing. She's the scapegoat for a government conspiracy.
So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions. This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the conclusion of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings. Well now, as a fellow servant of the Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me. You need glasses, sir.
Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in a detective, really.
Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Detective has very much trusting eyes. More than this, I cannot say. I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're going to believe Gregson. If they declare the decision now... God damn it. Fuck the police. A cab straight to EBDB. Is Jenny going to be found guilty? The fucking... God damn. If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is banned in Britain for being so critical of the British government. I mean, it's not the most critical it could be of the British government, but it's still... I mean, the fucking BBC had to apologize to J.K. Rowling for even slightly suggestion that she might be transphobic, so... Either some proof that Graydon killed Winter Windybank, or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness.
Well then, counsel, I think it's time I imposed on the jurors to declare the final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you thus far not presented to the court.
Think. If I let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty. So there's no choice then, Bruno. You have to throw some more evidence at them. This is it now. It all comes down to this. But who do I present evidence against? Gregson or Graydon? Oh, shit. Okay, think. Motherfucker. If I were to present it to Graydon, what would I be able to prove? Pawnbroker's ticket, representation, blood samples, manuscript. The Hound of the Baskervilles. That couldn't be it. Why can't the second music box be in the court record? Apparently you do have to present the disc, so you have to, like, just ask them to give you the second disc.
Take that!
Is that Mr. McGilden's Peculiar Music Box
Council? Oh, that's right, because if Mr. Graydon truly wasn't trying to steal government secrets, that would mean the music box disc doesn't contain government secrets. Yes, with the disc already in place ready to play, which means he shouldn't have a problem with us playing it in court and examining it thoroughly. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time, slamma-lamma, with the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well.
Goodness, this disc, Council.
Wait, how do we know which side plays which disc? No, wait, I can't let you do that. Why not?
Because, well, because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector.
Aye?
The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. You go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that. It's treason.
That's interesting. Why would Nash Skulkin be so interested in having this disc? I thought he wasn't trying to steal secrets. Then do you admit to the charge that in order to protect those state secrets, you engaged in unlawful dealings with the witness?
You're mad. If you let that secret information out to the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection!
I don't give a shit. Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because, by fair means or foul, you're determined to do your duty, even if it means jeopardizing the life of my client. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare.
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. Yeah! My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box. You know, this case is going to start World War I a decade early.
Come on, Van Zeeks, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Slam. Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law. So let me propose a toast. To uncovering the truth by fair means or foul. Oh!
Very well. The defense's stance here, and that of the prosecution, has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's witness request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more. This time, with the second disc in place, both discs playing simultaneously.
Maybe they're slightly different sizes, and so that way only one can fit in one side. Like there's an electric, I have an electric mixer, and there are 2 whisks, but they're different lengths, and so each one will only fit in a certain slot in the electric mixer. With the second disc, both discs playing simultaneously. Awesome that. It's Morse code. All right, I admit it. Whatever you want. But for the love of God, shut that bloomin' box up. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the people in the pawnbroker storeroom and store, Inspector?
I did. Stop! What are you doing, man? It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, and we were stood here in the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal. Shut up, you imbecile. Shut up! Psst, you there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector, with me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept, or information that may take certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed. I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door and the bloodstains on the overcoat. I'd given false testimony this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. The anger in his voice. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the peephole had only been made that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime, namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windybank. You! Traitor! Whack! Oh my god! Oh my god, he's gonna kill him! Oh my god, he killed him! Bailiff! Bailiff! Smack his nuts! Impregnate that man! At once. Bailiff, send him to Australia! That will be this video's tagline. That's it then. It's all over. I despised my life growing up. Those slums of wild places. Is this who it was? Cursed from... Oh, this is him. He was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. A Freudian excuse? Is that what you're going for? It was because of daddy issues that I committed murder. So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole.
And you eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
But then you decided to try to sell government secrets and frame an innocent girl? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded. You're a fiend with a queer talent, so we are. I have money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me. Little plan now. I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message logs and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the Ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task. The allure of the devil's offerings, how easy it is to succumb.
But you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing.
Oh my god, how many crimes has this man committed? And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable. By using the music box. Yeah. My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He'd once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier. Oh, spare me the sob story, you fucking murdering racist psychopath.
Look at you, Ashley, what a fine gent you've become, eh?
He was a different man to the one in my memory, a thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him, never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs, eh? A musician friend of mine has written some
music he wants to sell to the public. I've brought the score with me, the year too, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you?
They're in the loft. That's how I had him make the 2 discs. Thereby splitting the information in 2, you are taking considerable precautions indeed. It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGilded in 2 separate transactions. The first involved the first of the 2 discs, and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Then, on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago was the second part of the deal? The exchange of the... Goddamn yawning. The exchange of the second disc? Yes. I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already, but it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
But that doesn't make sense, Mr. Graydon. For why was it that on the omnibus 2 months ago, your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded, and not yourself?
When I received 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
"Next time there's an exchange, you'll let your man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore."
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of a monster McGilded really was. So, after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name to exact revenge. Revenge? This is one hell of a confession, as anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine. McGilded brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. Yeah, that shit's on his Wikipedia page. To crush any semblance of justice in his trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. My feet had barely touched British soil back then, and I walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all. I'd made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. It was you. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that. Are you saying that? I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything to his favor in this courtroom to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. That tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly. McGilded's death that day was caused by this man. His fingerprints were burnt off in the chemicals factories.
Everything's ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
What's this, officer? It is sooner than I was led to believe. It is sooner than I was led to believe.
Hope something feeds up. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. Why did... Oh my god, it was part of his plan. He knew that McGilded was going to want to see the omnibus, so that policeman who came to tell McGilded he could examine the omnibus again. That's right. An imposter hired by me. Among Us! McGilded uses his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. Yeah, well, you framed that witness for murder, so I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. Ugh. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
A spine-chilling account indeed.
But let me guess, you still don't admit to the murder of fucking Windybank. But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see. A loose end? Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded.
Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. This is the first of the 2 discs, and a music box you need to play them. Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for ye, my young man. What's this? Windybank's pawnbrokery. Hi, 'tis a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. Ye can use it to redeem me an article I've deposited there for ye. There's no need to give a name, just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. I put a jewel in pawn for ye. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will. That's pretty clever, using, not using actual currency. I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before. Have ye not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault. So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And on the night in question he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at Windybanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for? From the trial, the pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. So I realized immediately that she was another of McGilded's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl who would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. And he was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windybanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilder's overcoat and the one disc that was in its pocket. The all-important music box with a second disc inside was missing, because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion. He's admitted to... Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that McGilder was involved. Inspector, you've recovered fast. My orders were to cover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yacht, but we had to keep it quiet as quiet as we could. Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still in there in the shop somewhere, so I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into the place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery? I can only describe it as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd located the music box I'd sold to McGilder on the shelves of forfeited articles. And the second disc was inside. Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
What are you doing in my shop? Bang!
A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. So you admitted it! Oh, God, I don't have to go through 3 fucking reveals. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. I mean, you already killed one guy. It's not like killing another guy will make it any worse than it already is. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled to the storeroom for refuge. So you know what? I'm not sorry, tell. You know, see, like, I get Nash. I get Eggs Benedict's motive. I get it. What he did, like, he kills Wendy Bank, then he frames Gina for murder, so that way to cover his own ass. Like, I get it. You know, that motive is understandable. It's still awful. He's still a villain, but, like, yeah, that's expected. You expect that. But, like, fucking pighead over here, fucking Copper over here is like, oh, yeah, I went along with the framing of an innocent woman, framing her for murder. Oh, I did it for the good of my country. Oh, she's a sacrificial lamb for government security. Fucking goddamn horse's ass. It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windybanks on that wretched night. Send him to Australia. Send him to Australia. USA, 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 USA. Anyway. Earlier, you called McGilder a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. for what you have done is exactly the same, if not worse. McGilded, he didn't pick someone to take the fall for him, and he could have done it. He could have, with his money, he could have just framed someone for murder, but he didn't. He just took precautions to make sure that he wouldn't be incriminated. Didn't go through the trouble of framing someone else. You framed someone for murder, and you also had a cop help you with that. Which just shows to show police don't give a fuck about the average citizen. Don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about their job, and they will throw you under the bus, no pun intended, if it means that they manage to do what they get paid for, which is protecting the state. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded. You've become the very thing you swore to destroy. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Yes, I think I have. Oh, Tumblr's gonna go crazy for that guy. The poor little Meow Meow. He killed 2 people and framed... He's a fucking capitalist. He's bourgeoisie scum. String him up. Send him to Australia.
Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial. However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Australia. He's been restrained, my lord, and has been escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Windybank, and the stealing of government secrets, and fraud, and perjury, and breaking and entering, and attempted burglary.
Very good.
God, he's gonna get fucking sent to forever jail. He's gonna be like the capital punishment, bro. He's gonna get fucking double executed. So I don't support the death penalty. Just send them all to Australia.
And you, Inspector, regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
But seeing as he's a cop, he's definitely gonna get off easier. Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yeah.
It is time for the final education. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, sir. Garrett Squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now. The last push. The final call. The finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman.
Here we go.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yay! There's the stuff. I'm off the hook. For now. Finally, Runo, you managed to do it. See you in the next game, Gina. Finally is the word. I wasn't really sure if we'd come out on top for a little while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world.
Miss Lestrade, I am not finished with you yet.
Ah, son of a bitch. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider.
Eh?
2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, I gave false testimony to the law. And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Windybank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGinnis' property, it seems.
Yeah. I never done nothing of the sort. Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilda's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. It was her coat! Let her keep the coat, you monsters! And just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening.
And turning our attention to the defense. Determining that, when played together, the music box discs containing a message in Morse code was, well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, counsel.
Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast. To demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. It was for the greater good. What did you propose? What should I have done, huh? Should I have just let my client be given the fucking noose? Should I have just let should I let a 17-year-old girl get hanged for a crime she didn't commit? You white pasty ass fuck. I'm not sorry at all, motherfucker. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so... Find my something up point. Isn't that... Oh, it's, about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What? What are you saying, madam? It was binary. Oh, well, it's just that I'm rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see? So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Oh, goodness, madam. I don't know the level of obsession one feels.
But I must say that, in my opinion, the sounds produced by these two discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of two different tones. What? Could that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all. My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again.
Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine.
This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know McGill did conspire to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really going to bother me. Anyway, as I was about to say before fucking Van Zeeks, let me think. I can't make that into a fun insult. Before Bitchhead Van Zeeks, so as I was about to say before Bitchhead Van Zeeks, show that he has zero moral fiber and just doesn't give a fuck about the innocent, I was gonna say that he feels like a combination of the three prosecutors from the first three Ace Attorney games. Well, four prosecutors, because there's also Von Karma. You know, he looks Von Karma. His name's similar to Von Karma. Dresses like Von Karma. He also got that Edgeworth vibe. And the two Von Karmas, Francisco Von Karma, and the fucking wine, he's sipping the wine. It's like how Godot's always sipping that coffee.
Mr. Strayed.
Yeah, me lord.
That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing.
Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a crim catalogue of depravity.
An appalling experience to afford any child.
Come on, it ain't nothing I don't see most days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon?
If you wink, you pay for it. That's just how life goes. I'm fucking up. Oh, Gina. Well, look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you gotta start at home. Gotta change how you are yourself. Nope, nah, that's not. Nope, stop this shit. Stop blaming societal problems on the individual. God damn it. So like, this is a kind of like, oh, buy less avocados. Stop eating avocado toast if you want to, if you don't like being homeless.
Well, it's a very laudable reason, I would say.
Stop using plastic straws.
I look forward to see the more born-again Mr. Strayed never gracing my courtroom with her presence again.
Ah, sick burn, Judge. Sick burn. Gina doesn't deserve any of this, man. She is the best character in this whole game.
Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawnbroker business on Baker Street, hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
This is still a fire hazard. Woohoo! That is also a major fire hazard. Those people in the upper pews are gonna be fucking... No! Stop shooting the fireworks! The whole building's gonna burn this to flames!
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Ah, court blimey. Ah, so it's just us. Wanna make out? Oh boy. On a personal note, I must say, you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend. Ah, whoa! Despite being Nipponese, you thaw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman. Oh, great, it's all, oh, you're a credit to your people. What the fuck you talking about? And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. Well, unlike you, I'm not racist, so... I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. I took the case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom. Ah ha ha! Fucking gay! Anyway, you did. When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Another? Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand. You knew another guy from Japan. You mentioned something similar earlier today about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. I'll never forgive the Japanese! What happened exactly? You know, I bet that... this is probably the same time period as the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Don't know if I talked about that before. No, wait. Was Ferdinand killed in a cart or a carriage? It was definitely the late 1800s, man. And part 2, that's World War II. And part 3 is like the 80s or whatever. Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not. Sounds like a mystery to be solved in the next game, but I'm not playing that for a while, because apologies. Alright then, I'll wait for that day if I must. Sip, sip, sip. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, and my retirement from service 5 years ago, gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. Damn. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow. Until we meet again. Please be less racist in the next game. Thank you. Oh, wow. Still not done with the game. Still more shit to do. 17th of April. The old BAILIFF. Wow. It's done. It's over at last. You know what? Can't we just consider, like, the time she spent in jail to be the sentence served for the fucking perjury and the other shit? I mean, come on. But... where's Iris disappear to? Or, plea bargain. Could do a plea bargain. Ah! Congratulations, Sheena. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me, right up to the end. You're as odd as your name. What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever asked before, you see. Kept a promise, I mean. Properly. That's awful. I figured something out today. All me life growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. That's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. Honestly, completely reasonable. It sucks being poor. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently, too. Trusting someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and you trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Ah, well, if you say so. That'll make a fan lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma. Am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. Oh.
But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow?
Ah, that voice!
It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Yes, it was me all along, I would have said, when finally you noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling.
Mr. Sholmes! This man is so autistic.
Yes, it was me all along, you see?
I'd assumed you'd be taken back to the hospital, to be honest.
Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again.
Oh.
I happened to be aware of one of two foibles of the doctor who was attending to me.
Foibles?
I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence.
You bribed him, didn't you? How very above board.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts are justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you.
Oh, thank you. Heh. Some great detective you are. Great as being cold as ice, maybe.
Have I yoked you in some way, Mr. Strayed?
While you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed, some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I've indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well, have a feel.
Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? Oh, cold hands.
And in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you, too, Mr. Strayed.
What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but...
Yeah, you still...
An acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious.
Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the rape, you mean? Cause anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyway, is that it?
The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilded, in fact. But of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself.
Still gonna have to put you in witness protection program, cause you admitted to perjury. Yeah, well, it don't bother me.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I say it, the rape was a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs? You mean, like God? Yeah, I'm Catholic. Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There are some cows like that, Bogtrotter, what are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, I ain't like the McGildeds of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, say. Oh, I see. She's like a Calvinist? Nah, that's not right. Everyone, some people will go to hell no matter what. That's basically what Calvinism is.
A trait in which which is to be admired, Miss.
Fuck.
A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi, just give it a rest, alright?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina.
Well, there you are, Hurley. How long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolls didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day. I say you are too good at disguising yourself.
I'll be careful.
Ouch. Anyway, it's just a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. You want the judge's patter? I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the backtrack stuff, what was in luck, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I think you'll find that basically, being a pickpocket is the main offense. Oh, but diving ain't an offense. It's a job, ain't it? What's your crime? Being poor? I don't think so. Still, it has got me thinking all this. The law in its majestic equality forbids the rich and poor alike from... I've said this before. Still, it has got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. No one will hire a homeless person, which is why they resort to crime. No one hires poor people. It's always like, oh, the poor should just get a job. Okay, well, to get a job, you need a house, a car, an address, a phone number. If you're not going to give everyone the right to a house or to food, are you going to at least give them the right to the things they need for a job? Nope. I don't trust them. So it seems like you just want them to stay poor, you motherfuckers. I mean, you didn't start off a lawyer, did you, Otto? Well, no. But I was never a pickpocket. Well, you were never born into poverty, you bastard. Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for him. Well, see, that's good. That's good, because, like, well, they don't just go like, oh, now I'm rich, yay! That's just a bad message, or like, oh, she needs fixing because she hates rich people. No, what, like, helping the poor. Come on, that's good, because, like, so much propaganda where, like, the person who's seen as wrong by society in some way, instead of society changing their, backwards views of people, no, it's the individual who has to change themselves so they're acceptable by society's standards. It's fucking horseshit. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny, and I'm sure you can do it. Heh. What is it? Nothing. The prison carriage is arriving, madam. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Yeah, the pigs. Yeah, right. Well, looks like I'm off then. Yes, goodbye, Gina. And good luck. I don't think that was the original voice they did when she first appeared in this game, but I just don't remember it. Trying to make her sound cute. Eh. Otto? Yes? What is you doing, son? Ah! What was that for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so.
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Mr. Straight. On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you.
Ow. Oh, yes. It's good advice, Ginny. Right, I say. Well. Thanks, Howdo. Thank you for everything. What you done? Before believing in me. Okay. Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Wow. Well, there she goes. Wonder if I'll ever see her again.
Well, well, quite the indomitable pit pass.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I brought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page. Really? That was quick. Pickpockets, innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful? You should have shown it to Gina, Irish. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me. Oh, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? Not again. Well, what do you say, Runo? Really? As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first.
Absolutely not. I have no intention to listen to anything but good news.
And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there. Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently.
Well, that is good news indeed. You can journey back in greater discomfort.
And the bad news is you have cancer. See, that's like, no, they wouldn't do that joke. They wouldn't do that joke. They're not Family Guy. Alright then, what's the bad news? The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. Oh, the channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of the Dover have been delayed by a week or more. Wait, Dover? That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off. But, there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo?
Mr. Cholmes?
I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole.
Soul? I'm going with soul. I don't. The great detective does it again.
Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles.
What?
I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary.
You bribed him, didn't you? That's an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. What are we waiting for then? London Victoria! Oh. Wow. That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now. Mrs. Otto, where are you? There she is! Over there, look! It looks like she's reading something.
Hold it!
Wait! Mrs. Otto, wait! What are you doing? Ah, she sees me. Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She was acquitted. Yeah, that's wonderful. Really wonderful news. It still says, You're still sad because of the fucking doggy door. The book you're about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Oh, it's British law. It's about British law. Chuck it, man. It's useless. Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. Nah, British law is bullshit. You're better off without that book. So, I was saying my final farewell. You were saying goodbye to law? You? Suzaru-san?
Would I be correct in assuming? It's because of the people, Miss Suzato.
I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. Wait, where'd the doorknob come from? Don't think about it. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun. I stole Runo's armband. Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't know us for ages. That's victim blaming. On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flap-a-mat, so I put it up my sleeve. Really? And then I rather forgot about it, until I found myself in Mr. Windybank's shop with it later that night. I see. And then... Mr. Shaw! After Mr. Naruhodo left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storm door, you mean? Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So, you used the cat flap-a-mat to make the peephole in the door. As captured in a photographic print of the shop. By one of Hurley's red-handed photog recorders.
Indeed, it was of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made. That information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
But when I looked through the hole in the door, saw the body. The sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier. The trial of Magnus McGilded. I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimonies to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. As it should. Like, it's fucking stacked against the... It was fucking... Of course, the one trial that was easy was the one where the defendant was actually guilty. But when the defendant is actually innocent, no, you gotta fucking jump through infinite hoops. You gotta fucking do a fucking pirouette off the pumpkin. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windybank. Even though I was so sure she would never have done such a thing, we were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime. That's right, but then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. What do you mean? Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door. Ah.
For which, a peephole would be the very thing.
Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
A trap? Is that why she did it? So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? Never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police. I know, and I knew it at the time what I was doing was wrong, a criminal offense even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. Oh, that's the cutscene we saw last time. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan. She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began?
My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight.
I never think straight.
If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade.
Ah. Protective ignorance.
You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Mr. Zato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone.
I've got to... Water.
For your sake and Miss Lestrad's.
Ugh, hate doing British voices. Miss Suzato. The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I'd lost a little of my faith in the law. All completely understandable. The system is corrupt from the top. I was worried that the... God damn it, I don't care if you're playing Smite. I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Kraden is the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mrs. Otto, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets.
Well, we must all be thankful that Mr. Strange's freedom has been assured.
Well, conditional freedom. Because she still got a fucking, yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure. But the revelation that the music box disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. Oh? It wasn't? There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator, and she said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones.
As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted.
In cipher? I see. So then we can never have hoped to understand the message anyway.
Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pike problem, I assure you.
What? What? Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait! Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you? Means something? Asogi was the name of my best friend. What? How? How do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box. She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius. I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whenever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh. It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages. I don't believe it. Are you saying? That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before, but I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says asogi? Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Miss Suzato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. Wow. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications. Yeah, telephone's gonna be invented in a few years.
Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version.
Fucking racist. Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Of course. Next day's attorney game. They go to Brazil and everyone speaks Spanish. Fuck the Anglocentrism. But what can this possibly mean? Whatever's in that long sequence was supposedly meaningless dust and dashes. It's made the color drain from Susato-san's face. There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code. So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications? Ah, they're a bunch of weebs. MI6 is a bunch of weebs. I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. 4 names? The first is Kei Asogi. Kazuma Asogi. Why? Why was his name on that disc? Second is A. Shin. Shin? I don't recognize that name. The third is T. Gregson. Gregson? Oh!
Ah, it would seem Tobias Gregson is the 3rd man on the list.
And what's his name doing in a secret government communication as well? Yeah, I fucking hate that guy now. And the last name. What's the matter, Mr. Zato? It's just so strange. So unexpected. It's my name, right? Cause like, oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. The last name is J. Wilson. What? Wilson? Sean H. Wilson? You mean Daddy? Daddy? It only says J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then, after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris. In Japan, 4 is considered an unlucky number. It's like their version of 13 or 666. Because, like, the character for 4 is similar to the character for death. Or, like, they're pronounced the same way. So, like, yeah, 4. If you see 4 or something, that's bad luck. I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list with disturbingly familiar names.
Iris, listen to me. I know who your real mother is.
Don't you fucking lie to me! Joke gets funnier every time you repeat it.
It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So, Daddy could be in Japan then. Where's Susie and Rito come from? Ooh. Well, no, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them. These J's I gotta take in, for this motherfucker got them fake J's! Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Umaver University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of Mr. Windybank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon. Yes, it seems so. I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. And I'll change on to a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie?
We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato.
Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Miss Susato, I had hoped to have you always at my side, to guide me and support me. Mr. Naruhodo, please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. I'm quite sure I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Ah. Oh, yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. All right, still needs to tell her how she knows. Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Do you remember the first time we met? Yes, of course. On the SS Buria, when I was dragged out from the wardrobe still half asleep. If I remember right, you threw me halfway across the cabin with his outer takedown. You know very well what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy. Mrs. Sato, now Ryunosuke is crying. And my instincts were right. I really want to believe, no, I'm sure that I'll be back soon. Farewell until then. Oh, it's an animation.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
Ah.
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey. Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will. But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Wow.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Oh, there's more.
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes.
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently.
Huh? It caused such a commotion on the line. All the other trains had to wait at stations.
Well, really, we would never have made it over to Dover in time otherwise. Anyways, I explained everything and how it was all your fault.
You fucker. Huh?
I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Mrs. Zato,
You love defending yourself in court. Oh, that's all right. I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? You're gonna testify against me! Mr. Sholmes.
yes?
A word, if you don't mind.
Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bolt out, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes, I love Wunder's words. I know just the one you'll use here.
Objection!
Ah. There's still more. Yay. Closing credits. Okay, I'm gonna... Well, let me think. There's probably be like that stuff that... Ah, see, they're gonna talk it.
In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself.
Yeah.
So I had advertised them for sale with, used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned, consulting detective works pays the pittance by comparison.
Gee. Kazuya Nuri. haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hurley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement. For some dry toast and insipid coffee. You know, I would watch one of those fucking lame movies about a writer struggling to write a novel on time for the publishers. I would read one of those if the writer in question was a small child. Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions.
Exactly. Really do wear coupon coins hide under rare stakes themselves.
Oh, I remember those guys. I forgot what voices I did. Is that J. Jonah?
Think, Mark. Serious? Were you photographing squirrels? You're fired.
Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I laid low on the steamship for a while. But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I've done nothing wrong! All I did was give Wahagai's offspring refuge in my pocket! I'm bringing some kittens on board and suddenly he's a hardened criminal! It's not fair! Yeah, when will animals be allowed to legally emigrate? Come on, man! It's a crime that you can't bring your pets with you overseas. Yeah, I know there's health reasons, but come on, man. Maybe if we had trains across the...
I dream of a world governed by the tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison.
A company is like an enormous clock, and clocks have dual movements. The gears that fit together. Clock. I'm not happy, Bob. What about our shareholders? Who's helping them out?
These Rats magazine's out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote out, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur.
Okay, well, glad. Actually, no, fuck you. You threw my... I'm still pissed at you for throwing my client under the bus. Fucking hell. Okay.
Right. Been visiting the old girl on a daily basis. Of course, Jody, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bally stairs every day has done wonders for the dirty pig. Managing rather well with the housework, too. Got this maid business taped up, I'd say. Hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid.
Oh, right. This whole thing was because he was too... You do not need a maid for a house this tiny. My Rolly's back on the beach again, all thanks to the Reaper.
There's nothing I enjoy more these days than holding out small change in the gutter. I'm a better Bobby now, looking out for Londoners, their dropped halfpennies, and my lovely wife.
Are you sure it's not Rory and it was just like an L because the L and the R are the same characters in Japan? Oh, now I get it. Patricia, Rolly, Patrolly. Iris comes every day for Annetta, so it ain't too boring. She's always going on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Hey, maybe you'll get let off early for good behavior. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when they when you get into them. Parole. Do you have a chest that says "Die Bart Die"? None. No, mate. It's German for "the Bart thing." Well, no lady could speak. Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets, please. Why the fuck aren't you on death row?
Give over, bruv. That ain't the ash we used to know.
Sorry, wrong voice.
We got time here to plan the comeback of Milverton and Skulkin's Milkman, right?
The Three Muskewatsets. Milking the neighborhood for lawless wife. Motherfucker, I thought you were given the capital punishment. Maybe they're in Australia. Yeah, that's it. They're in Australia right now. This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruhodo-san, I promise, your assistance will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories, and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well. Oh my god. That picture is adorable. Was gonna do the fucking title card, but I think that's a better thumbnail. Oh, there's still more, man.